really like the way you played this hand, and I like the way you thought about it because, you know, you were right on the money on every street.
I'm just going to run to the bathroom.
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's give it a spin.
Then we have actually a bluff I pulled that So this one is quite fun. So like I said before, I wasn't only here to maximize my expected value. I wanted to get in some big hands. So I actively tried to make plays that I might not think is the best. Here, Doyle Brunson raises under gun +1. Antonius calls, and I have 6-5 of diamonds. I make it about 5x. So 1,200, and then I make it 6 grand. What do you think of this play?
So I really like the hand class you chose, like a suited connector like this, you know, playing really deep stack. These are the kind of hands that you want to have as your bluffs, because if it comes like 4, 7, 8, no one's going to think you're in that range. They think you have, you know, aces, kings, and stuff like that. So it offers you what's called board coverage. The only thing I would say, and this is just a personal read thing, is that when Doyle Brunson raises early position, I typically wouldn't do that because he's going to be a little tighter when he does that. And he's also not going to be folding a lot of the hands that he opens, but it's fine. It's totally fine at the stack depths that you have. Obviously, with Patrik just calling, you don't have to worry about him having aces or kings and pushing you off it. So I like it. You know, the size you chose is good too. I believe the blinds are 2 and 400. So you made it about 15x, and that's good. That's really on point. I think you did good, and it's a fine play. Now, with 6-5 suited, you don't want to do this 100% of the time. And as you said, you were trying to gamble and play some big pots. So I don't blame you for, you know, choosing a hand like this to do it with.
Yeah, no, so I made it 6 grand, and part of me was hoping for fold. Another part of me was hoping, I can get an open ender and or a flush draws or something to play here. Doyle actually folded here. He folded ace jack, and Antonius called with the 9-8 of spades. Board comes 9 to queen. I mean, when I've re-raised, I feel this is a board I want to continue on.
When you look at this board, you think, first of all, sure, you have range advantage because you're the 3 better. You could have pocket aces, pocket kings, whatever. Having said that, when he calls a raise and then calls again, the queen 9 being connected, it connects to a lot of the hands that he's going to call with. The 9-10 suited, the jack 10s, queen jacks, and stuff like that. So on one side, sure, like you have more really strong hands, but that's a board he's going to hit a decent amount of the time, unless he has a hand like, you know, 2 7s, 2 8s, which is also possible, right? So his entirety of his range either is like pocket pairs, some suited aces, or a bunch of hands that are going to connect in some way to this flop. So if I were you, I decide for myself, all right, if I bet this flop, I have to decide if I want to continue this story, depending on what turn card comes.
Yeah, my thought process was, I want to bet the flop. One thing he asked me before he called was, how much are you playing? I guess that's relevant with the drawing.
Having said that, one of the things you do when you make calculations is you think about the cards that you have and how that impacts your opponent's range. So because you have a 6 and a 5, it eliminates 3 combinations of pocket 6s, 3 combinations of pocket 5s. So he's more likely to hit this board because of your holding.
Yeah. Anyhow, I continue with my poker phase. I did a little bit of studying before. 2 hours. I tried to go down on the sizes, at least on the flop. And I bet 8.5 when he calls.
This is a flop that's going to actually, you know, like optimal play would ask for some small sizes, some big sizes, and mostly on the smaller side. So yours is about as big as I would go in this spot.
He calls, and the turn card comes the 10 of spades. And at this point, I've kind of given up because the king jack got there, jack 10 is probably not folding now. There's so many hands that I saw that I felt in his range. So 10 of spades, I felt was one of the absolute worst cards for me.
No question about it. The 10 of spades or the jack of spades would be the worst possible card you can see on the turn in terms of like what you said. Because he did call the flop against, you know, reasonable size, he doesn't have like 7s and 6s anymore.
Exactly.
So if he doesn't have that, he's way more likely to either have at least the 9, a queen, maybe made a straight with king jack suited, just a whole bunch of bad here. If you were to bet this turn, you don't just want to bet the turn when he's for sure calling and then just wave the white flag on the river. That's a wasted bet. And I think a lot of amateur recreational players make that mistake. You have to think to yourself, if I'm bluffing this turn, I must also have a plan to do it on the river. And if I don't waste the chips.
Exactly.
So I like the idea for you to just check fold here.
So I was like, all right, I tried something. Now I give up. I check. Fortunately, Patrik checks behind.
Because of the specific hand that he has, I like his check.
I like it as well.
And now he's picked up spades. I think it's a good check on his part.
Yeah, so it's 30K in the pot. And if he would bet, I might have shoved. If I had
$5, he would have folded. He could have bet 5 krona or whatever you call it over there.
Krona, yeah.
Just fold. Yeah.
Yeah, he checks behind. I'm still giving up until boom, that's my card.
Yeah. If we think about the thought process of, like I said earlier, generally speaking, you want to use the worst possible hand you can have as a bluff, right? You have the worst fucking hand you could have, which was 6 high. Yep. But in addition to that, your range is very ace heavy here now. You were either slow playing the turn, looking to check raise maybe with a set or something like that, or you have ace king, ace jack. You have all those hands that are very credible to be able to bluff here. Because he checked the turn, it looks like he's got a 1 pair type hand, king 9 or a queen. Very difficult for him to call if you bet this river. So I think when you see that ace, you go from that plan on the turn of like, give up and go, oh, hold on. That card is now good for me, so I have to bet.
Yeah, that was my exact thought process. I've given up because it's just too bad of a board for me. If I'm bluffing, I mean, it calls a flop. So here I go for 18.5, which is about almost 2/3 of the pot.
Looking about 60% pot, yeah.
I thought I was betting a little bit more in correlation spot. I thought I was betting 70%, but yeah.
So here's an interesting concept for those that are listening. Now, when you choose to bet this river as played, right, your sizing will dictate what you're representing. So imagine, for example, you bet 3x pot. You're representing a straight, a set, maybe ace queen. That's it. Because you wouldn't do the 3x pot with ace king. So now when you choose your size, I like it. It's a size that you would bet if you had ace jack or ace king or anything better than that. If you would make a huge size, you know, it's one of those polarizing situations where it's like, I either have the nuts or I have nothing. So your size here, I really like it. Because for Patrick's perspective, he's like, what the hell do I beat? You know, even with a queen. If Patrick happened to hit the ace, he's probably going to call you. You know, you're going to lose the pot. But anything but that, and you're going to win a very high percentage of the time. So I really like the way you played this hand, and I like the way you thought about it because, you know, you were right on the money on every street.
I appreciate that. And Patrick thought for a while, and then he threw it away. And I realized afterwards I was kind of lucky because he picked up a flush draw on the turn. I mean, as short stacked as I am, maybe he doesn't want to bet that. But if we were deeper, I think he would have bet the turn. I would have just surrendered.
I don't think he would have bet the turn. I don't think he needs to, right? You know, he doesn't need to protect against ace king or whatever. I think he's going to check back the turn with his specific holding almost always, unless he improved.
All right. No, but I'm very happy. I pulled a few bluffs. I think this was the only one that was shown. But yeah, I was happy. And the fun thing about this hand as well, my friend said, Kim, you have to play 4 or 5 of diamonds. That's my favorite hand. You're going to win with it. So I thought this was close enough.
Yeah, for sure. You were halfway there.
And then we come to the banger. Can you give me 1 minute? I'm just going to run to the bathroom.
Yes, sure. Okay, sure.
1 minute. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. We are doing... Make sure you stay... Make sure to leave a comment below if there's... we will be doing more hand reviews together with Daniel Negreanu in the upcoming weeks, so make sure you hit the like and subscribe.